There's nothing worse for a student than needing a certain paper before an exam. But in order for them to find that paper, they have to go through their entire mess. And that process can take up to an hour or even more. And that hour is taken from their valuable study time. This week's study tip will be about organizing your papers. Organizing your papers might take a long time at the beginning, but in the long run, it will be worth it because it will not only save you time, but it will save you energy and it will bring you peace and relaxation. I have been there. The night before the exam, you need one paper, but you cannot find it because of all of your mess. With a proper organizing system, you will be able to find anything you need in just few minutes. And in this video, I'll be giving you 5 tips that will help you to have an organized study system. But before we start, let me know in the comments down below which is your favorite study advice. I'll be reading through all the comments and I'll be picking one as next week's topic. So you might be responsible for next week's video. One of the tips in this video is my favorite and has helped me a lot with organizing my papers. And at the end of this video, I will let you know which one it is. So stay tuned. Tip number 1. Divide all your papers into categories. Each category represents a subject. For example, here we have physics. Here we have chemistry, and here we have biology. And then put everything that's related to each subject in their specific category. For example, past papers, handouts, or the syllabus. Now it's time to use binders. And for that, you will need a binder, clear plastic binder sleeves, and a hole puncher that will fit your binders. And I don't know where mine is. What I like to do with the binders is as follows. I divide my binders after topics. First thing I put in is the syllabus, followed by class materials such as handouts or printed text. Then at the end, I put past papers or practice questions. Tip number 3. Labeling. After you finish organizing your binders, it's still a bit difficult to find everything you need. Therefore, it's very important to label. At the start of each topic, you put a label, and on that label you put the title and the number of your topic. So now at a glance, you know exactly where that specific topic is. So now at home, you have a centralized storage area for all your papers, and whenever you get something new, you will put it in those files. But now let's take this one step further and ask ourselves, how often will I put my papers in my centralized organizing system? And also, when I receive a paper from my teacher, am I going to immediately go and store them in my centralized organizing system? Or am I just gonna put them on my desk and let it pile over there over a long period of time? Or maybe one day, magically, I will get the urge to organize my papers and put them in my proper storage system. Well, that won't happen every day because I personally do not like to use those binders every single day. So that brings us to tip number 4. Mobilized storage. I bought plastic paper holders. I took out one for each subject and I labeled them according to their subjects using non-removable ink. So on Monday I have biology, physics, math, and English. I put the file for each of those subjects in my bag, and everything I get from the lectures, I put them in the folder. At the end of the week, if I will not be using the things I received from the lectures during the week, I store them in my centralized storage system. But if I have an exam coming, or I will revise the material the week after, then I will not put them in the binder and I will keep them inside the folder. But after finishing the revision or after finishing the test, I put holes in those papers and I put them in the binder. Tip number 5. Digitize your papers. I personally have not used this method until today, and I just noticed how amazing this method is, because it does not only save you a lot of storage, but it also saves you a lot of time. So let's say you finish an exam and you receive your grades in addition to your exam papers. You want to hold on to those papers, so maybe in the future you can go through them and see where you have made the mistakes. But at the same time, exam papers take a lot of space and they make your organizing system look bulgy. Therefore, my recommendation is that you digitalize digitalize your exam papers. Nowadays, it's very easy. You don't even need a scanner anymore. You can just grab your phone, download an app called ScanBot, and scan your exam paper. Using ScanBot, you can take multiple images, and then the app will combine them all into one PDF file. And you can save it wherever you want. You can title that file with the subject that you were tested in and the date of the test. This will help you to find that specific exam paper very easily later on. Additionally, whenever you digitize your notes, do not only store them on your computer, but instead always back them up and upload them to a cloud storage base. For example, you can use Google Drive. And in that way, you can access your files wherever you want, whenever you want, and using whatever device you desire. Bonus tip! Bonus tip! Review and recycle frequently! This is very important in order to avoid bulging folders and files. There's a lot of things that you thought you needed and you put inside your binders, but then you realize you don't really need those papers. Therefore, I recommend that you go through your binders once every month or every 1.5 months and just throw away everything you don't need. For example, if you have multiple drafts of a project, you can delete those drafts and only keep the final copy. Or if you have printed out papers for research and that research is done, then you can throw those papers. So which one of these was my favorite? Drum rolls please. My favorite and the one that helped me the most is using binders in order to organize your papers. This tip has helped me to organize all the papers that I had piled up before my final exams in high school. And when those papers were organized, I was able to get a good idea of how much I have left to go through. Also, whenever I needed one paper, I just opened that binder and found it directly. So it made all my papers easily accessible. So this was this week's tip. I hope that you found this tip helpful and that after watching this video, you'll go and organize all of your papers. As I said, if you have a good study tip, let me know in the comments down below and you might be responsible for next week's video. But yeah, thank you so much for watching and I hope that you found this video helpful. And if you did, make sure to smash that like button and also subscribe for more awesome videos. Goodbye! Studying is tough and time consuming. When you are too focused on your studies, you might neglect other areas of your life that are, let's say, less important, such as cleaning your room. And your room at the end of the day might look something like this. You might think that a messy room has no effect on your studies, but from what I have experienced, when your environment